welcome to Who Put This On, Season 2, Episode 37, where we watch Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown, Season 10, Episode 8. And I'm Chris Lorenz, and
I'm Brian Houston.
Mies and Max.
And I believe we have a new special guest.
I am Noah Singer.
Welcome, Noah.
Thank you.
I don't know if you've been on the cast before.
I may have had a cameo about 20 or 30 episodes ago.
Well, our constant listeners will maybe recognize your voice.
Yeah, you might recognize my catchphrase as "yes" and "thank you."
No problem. We got you. We'll keep that as your catchphrase.
Thank you.
So this episode, or this show, I'm not sure it qualifies as a reality show.
I'm not sure why we watched it. This might be a quick episode.
What do we watch?
It was bad. Like,
Yeah.
unquantifiably just bad.
Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown is... Why is this still on the TV?
I have a ton of respect for Anthony Bourdain. His first book is one of my, probably a top 5 book for me. This episode sucked. He's 10 episodes in on like his third show, or 10 seasons in on his third show. Who knows?
All right, so let me give the description of the show.
Okay.
Maybe we get, better idea of what we're dealing with.
Anthony
Bourdain, join world-renowned chef, best-selling author, and multiple Emmy-winning television personality, Anthony Bourdain, as he travels across the globe to uncover little-known destinations and diverse cultures.
Little known.
That's it.
Seattle. Nailed it.
Other episodes he goes to like Nairobi or some shit. But yeah,
Yeah.
There's only how many people that live in Nairobi?
I don't know, man. I
Probably more than
know
Seattle.
little about it. It's
Yeah.
little known. Okay, so he starts off the episode talking shit about half the population, and then talks about how everyone's a serial killer. He goes to a restaurant that looks very nice. We don't get his review of the food.
Yeah. There's nothing
Yeah.
talked about anything about in the show. It's just like little interviews with like 5 or 6 people over an hour that have like a supposed slice of life of like the city, which was Seattle this time, which we're all from Seattle. So like maybe that was part of it because we all know pretty much what to expect. And there wasn't like, oh, that's interesting. They have a lot of serial killers there. Or, they grow marijuana 2 hours away from the city. Oh, my God. That's crazy.
For one thing, that's kind of interesting. He goes explore the food of Seattle. No coffee.
It's
Our
true.
coffee is not that great. Hot take.
Seattle coffee, not that great.
Compared to what, though? Like...
I've had better coffee in towns like 4 hours outside Chicago.
Okay, so what are you
shots fired at coffee.
What exactly are you looking for in coffee, though?
It's fine. We don't need to have a coffee fight right now.
We're not
okay?
going to have a
Like-
coffee fight. Our coffee is fine. It's not the best in the country.
But he brought up a good point that our coffee is supposed to be good because this is the origin of Starbucks. But
Yeah, but what about them serial killers?
Right.
We got to know about them serial killers.
We do
not
know
about
Ted
the coffee.
Bundy was here. That's all we know.
And we got to know about this really, some singer that's doesn't live in Seattle anymore.
No, he lived in L.A.
He lives in L.A., but he was from Seattle. So he got major play on this episode.
Yeah, which is a little surprising.
He got major play because he literally sings the theme song for the show.
No, I got it.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, okay.
But about serial killers, and for those listening, this is kind of how the episode of Anthony Bourdain went. They would talk, and every so often, serial killers would come back on the topic.
He would bring it up quite a lot. It was funny the first 3 times, maybe.
I wasn't funny at all. We're like, serial killer, what are you talking about? I don't know. At least I have no idea where serial killers are from. We don't hear a lot of news about them anymore. Other than in movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a Greek conspiracy theory right now. Anthony Bourdain is a serial killer.
Oh,
He travels around to all these places, kills a couple people, and then runs off to his next city where he's going to, quote-unquote, film his next episode.
I mean, they did talk about in one of their interviews about how we're so close to just dumping bodies. Like you just drive an hour and just dump a body, and no one will find it.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, everybody in Seattle's a fucking Dexter. Like,
Yeah.
Wasn't an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark when the secret ingredient in the chef's soup was people?
You know,
I
it
have
seems highly possible.
absolutely no idea, Noah.
Maybe Anthony
Was it
Bourdain.
Soylent Green? Was that the name of the episode?
Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nickelodeon, snuck in some cultural references that 10 and 11-year-olds may not have been able to pick up on.
I do know an episode of South Park where that was the secret ingredient.
People?
Yeah.
Oh, was that the chili?
Yeah.
Parents
Scott,
of chili,
Scott
yeah.
Tenorman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he's called that because like his parents are tender. They're tender men. I don't know. Deep cuts. Anyway, yeah. Back to Anthony Bourdain. Tony, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? You getting high? That was pretty funny. You know,
Yeah.
Getting loose and just getting high. I like it. I like that you had a lady tell you the difference between indica and sativa at a weed store, and you kept like a straight face for all those moms watching CNN. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, so the first segment was like them talking about like tech boys.
And
Yeah.
let's be fair, all of us are quote unquote tech boys, and all of us suck. I accept that.
We all have a moldy smell, according to the people they interviewed.
Yeah.
And they went to Pacific Inn, I believe, is
Yep.
where that interview
Pacific
took
Inn.
place.
Yeah, above
Which-
Gasworks Park.
I don't know if you guys want to have anything to talk about that. That
I-
place, I'll just bring up the places they mentioned because they didn't even talk about anything about these places on the show. They were just like in them.
right, like
I don't understand what the point was.
if he's actually going to come to like Seattle to talk about food, there are so many better places. Like Pacific Inn was all right. Like they have stiff ass drinks. Like I've went there before, many a kickball match, had like one drink and I'm like, I'm fucked up for the entire game. And yet, like, why are we like going like there for food when you could like be going to Tacos Chuki's, which is one of the most countrywide renowned like Mexican places.
But that's not what Seattle's known for. They're known for their fish and chips, which, apparently this Pacific Inn has fish and chips.
Then go to a fucking seafood place. I don't need to like go for deep fried fish.
Pacific Inn is known for their fish and chips.
Yeah,
That's why they went there.
but
I've
there's
never
some-
had the fish and chips there.
I've had the fish and chips. Like it's good.
I
but-
think it may be like a true old neighborhood place that has
Yeah.
good food and remains to this day.
I agree.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like at least on his old show, No Reservations, he would basically land in a city, get a guide who's usually a well-known food critic, and the food critic brings them around to their favorite spots in the city. So this isn't like the best food; it is just like a couple people's favorite spots.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can see that then.
But the one exception to that was going to Nathan Myhrvold's experimental science kitchen.
We'll come back to Nathan Myhrvold. All you need to know right now is he's a piece of shit. Moving on.
I don't really remember. We went to Revel next. Revel?
Revel?
I don't
I've
really
wanted to
remember
go.
Why?
There's Korean food there.
I just
Where
don't remember
is it?
what the.
It's in Fremont.
Well,
I don't remember what the segment was.
Revel, he was talking to the GeekWire reporters.
yeah, and how like how tech constantly changes and like this
Oh,
this
yeah.
might be a small phase that like burns out Seattle a little bit.
These these interviews are like 30 seconds long. I feel like I'm back watching that what was that shitty Fox show we watched?
Utopia?
No.
You're
I
the
was here
jury.
for that one.
No.
Like there's a lot of shitty Fox shows, man. You gotta.
Yeah.
No, the one where they had
24?
Joe Millionaire.
God damn it, you guys are not helping at all. Not helping at all. It's like that British show that came to Fox, but run by that famous chef. I can't remember.
Oh,
Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay.
The F word.
The F word.
Yeah,
the American
fuck
F
that
word.
show.
This show reminds me so much of that, but just like not forced into like this like live hour show. It's just like we produced the shit out of this. Here's like 2 minutes on this random topic, and we didn't really tell you much about it. So, okay.
I personally did like the discussion on like, hey, like this is the new Seattle. Well, how Seattle's changing. It is a new Seattle in the sense of like, oh, it's gonna be like this way for the next 10+ years, maybe. I have honestly no idea. But the culture has changed significantly.
Yeah.
Like Capitol Hill, when I like first moved here 7 years ago, was a thriving neighborhood. Like it was very, very unique compared to like every other area of the city, and now it feels like nothing different. Like it feels like, oh, I could just go anywhere and like meet people like me, and I don't like that.
Yeah, that's legit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you got a little slice of life, but like the way they went about it, I felt it was very boring.
Agreed. They could have talked about like they could have went deeper into like the art culture. Like it still exists deep into the music culture, but
Or like they just did a lot of like, oh, we ate fish and chips at that place.
yeah, and then
Okay.
oh,
But even
oh, yeah,
doing
let's-
that,
sorry.
even doing that isn't that bad, right? If they went to Pacific Inn and just ate the fish and chips, they could have talked more about like
At least give
What they
me
do,
what
it-
your first
yeah.
take is on the fish and chips.
right.
You know?
Everything was just very shallow.
Yeah, it's
like-
such a shallow take on anything
Right.
that I felt like it was a waste of time.
I agree. Like the setups they had put together could actually make a good show.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a decent show. Like, it's produced really well. And maybe if it's a place I don't know at all, it's fine to have, like, a shallow look at it.
I
But,
do want to
like-
find. Yeah.
But as much of us are, like, Americans, I feel like even as an American, you know more about Seattle than, like, kind of what they did here. And, like, what's so unique? Oh, you could buy pot here? Well, you can do that in Colorado. You can do that in California. You can do that in Oregon. Like, do you need really to spend 20 minutes on buying pot, like, in Washington, Seattle?
I have a suspicion. Okay, I have not watched his shows in about 10 years. What if he was just real high the entire time?
He definitely high for most of the interviews.
When he was eating at Mamoon's with the pot growers.
That is the next
Well,
segment
Well,
that
yes.
we didn't talk about.
What if he was just like high for 99% of these episodes, except now it's like, oh, this place has legal weed. I can get even higher.
The next level.
Next level high.
Yeah.
I can't make it seem like I'm like normal. Now I have to seem like I'm high, so I have to be even higher than I usually am, so that it comes off that I'm high.
Right, exactly. It's just terrible. I mean,
So they like went through like some family that started like a pot business. They didn't really. Did they say what pot business it was?
It was the like something cannabis
Cannabis
company.
farm.
I want to say Wallingford.
Hollerstadt. No, it was
Something
like the
like that,
family
yeah.
name.
Oh.
Something Cannabis Farm.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like these two kids and their like two parents like growing pot and
Yeah.
making joints and like
It was
it was an interest. That might be the best segment that they had.
It was a fun,
think
weird
so.
segment that you wouldn't see in most parts of the U.S.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they gave it more time. Like I felt like they actually gave it time.
They
to,
should have
like-
cut out the Geekwire part.
Yeah,
Give
that
more
was
time on them.
boring.
100%.
Like they could cut out the rest of the show for all I care.
I do gotta say, whatever houseboat they Airbnb'd on Lake Union, that seems like a pretty good setup.
It wasn't on Lake. This is uninteresting to our listeners, but it was not on Lake Union. We will
Oh.
discuss it later.
Wait, no, how do you know it wasn't on Lake Union?
It had those big cranes that are by the port of Seattle,
It definitely seemed like they were on the
south side,
on the
like West
sound
Seattle,
somewhere.
maybe.
Oh, wild. Okay.
I don't really know where they were though.
It looked nice. They did good.
Yeah.
And then after they went to talk to the pot guys, they went and did the like science chef guy that Max hates,
I
which
would-
he will explain right now.
Who here has heard of Nathan Myhrvold before?
I
tell,
have not.
Tell me what you know about Nathan Myhrvold.
So, I have heard of Nathan Merville before. What I know of him, if I recall correctly, he was a early Microsoft executive.
He's the former CTO, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Max. He made a lot of money, as one does when you're one of the first CTOs of Microsoft. He left and he started several companies, I believe, but one of them does really interesting experiments with food. And he has this laboratory in Bellevue that does these experiments, and he gets famous for like doing these interesting things with food.
Yeah, he's very into this. I forget what the term is called.
Gastromolecular
Molecular gastronomy, whatever.
something like that, right?
Yeah, and he like did a big book about it in like 2011 that is kind of ballin'. Here's the problem with Nathan Myhrvold. he also has a company called Intellectual Ventures that basically patents fucking everything. They will buy up patents. They only get rich off of having patents and then taxing people to use them. And he's bullshit, and everything he does is bullshit, and he can die in a fire.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Interesting.
I did find it
I
kind
hope-
of cool that they different note on the actual show
Sure.
that they like canned bread, and then when they popped the bread open, it like kind of puffed out. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I would totally buy some canned bread if that was it.
The experience they did was cool, but speaking into the shallowness of the show, he's like, oh, they made these bagels where nothing falls off. And then they didn't go into why nothing falls off these amazing bagels.
I have a question. What's he talking about stuff falling off? Is he talking about like the sesame seeds coming off the side, or is he talking about the toppings?
The stuff on top of the cream cheese.
Is this a normal thing that happens to people?
No, when you're like going hog wild, yeah, it is. But yeah, just be reasonable about your fucking bagel.
This sounds like, you know those TV commercials where they're like, does this ever happen to you? And like a soda can just flies out of a person's hands.
Where did the soda go?
Where did the soda go?
Yeah, like
He also insinuated that this bagel was really good, but never outright said the bagel was good.
Yeah.
right. I would have loved to hear his take on like El Tana or something.
As a New Yorker, his take on El Tana is not going to be great.
That's fine. I would rather hear that than
Well,
I mean, I want
this
weird-
is not the show to get Anthony Bourdain's opinion on anything.
We
It's
got New
just
York, New
him
Jersey, and
being-
Pennsylvania in here right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
He's just being rich, just like doing little things in a city, and I don't understand this. I just don't understand the show.
Well, it's not
10
his,
seasons.
Yeah, it's not his vocal opinion, but I assume he has creative control over what they do. And so the story arc being that Seattle's changing, there's these tech bros that are changing it, is actually his voice.
I mean, I have to assume because I don't think that, somebody our age would be talking about the serial killers in Seattle from 50 years ago.
No. Which is, again, so strange. He kept harping on
And
serial
now we
killers.
keep harping on it
Yeah.
because he kept harping on it.
Man, domino effect.
So after they went to the bread expert, which we don't know anything about because they didn't fucking say anything about it, they went to the Taylor Shorefish Oyster Bar.
Yeah, Taylor Shellfish.
Shellfish. So I
Good
missed that.
choice for the show, I
It is a
think.
good choice.
I know on one of his previous shows when he went to Seattle, he went to like a place where they harvest gooey ducks, which despite the name is like a giant shellfish that sort of looks like a penis.
Is it gooey? In what state is it gooey? Like
It's-
originally,
it's
or when you
spell-
cook it,
Okay.
or like in between?
Do you know how to spell gooey duck?
It's GOOOOOOEY.
Okay. imagine the Pokemon Geodude, but you replace the DE with a CK. That's how you spell gooey duck. Makes no sense, but that's what it is.
I feel like enunciating that gooey duck is the weird thing. If you said geoduck, then I'd understand.
Sure, yeah. But anyway, he seems to always integrate something about shellfish in the show. And yeah.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
He likes shellfish. I don't really remember what he talked about.
Yeah, he went to Taylor Shellfish. Also a very good place. I really wish he would have actually talked about the shellfish and stuff instead of just like whatever the hell he talked about.
It was more serial killers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they were talking about serial killers with the locals, just fucking random people on the street.
Well, no, I mean, clearly these three dudes sort of knew each other, I think.
Yeah.
They struck me as buds.
It was such a brief glimpse into these people that it made no sense who you were talking to, why you were talking to them half the time.
Have you ever watched another Bourdain show?
No.
Long time ago.
No.
His old stuff used to be really fun and cool, and this is just such a fucking regression. I don't get it.
To be fair, probably what we watched, and you tell me if you watch this, it was much more of a novelty. It would be somewhere like in Indonesia or Southeast Asia.
Not
Africa.
even. He would go to Denver, and I'd be like, "Oh, that place looks weird and cool. I like that."
So even if if the show is all about things that I had no idea was going on, just they went to the people making the bread, canning bread, right? That was like kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it's such a brief glimpse that you don't know anything about it. That bothers me. Like, I can't understand. The show just doesn't make sense to me in its current format. Maybe earlier seasons, it would have been better in terms of like the novelty, and maybe they cared more. Like at this point, I feel like they're like, yeah, let me spend like zero time and effort on the show right now because they spent zero time and effort.
There is one segment they did spend a little bit more time on, and we haven't talked about yet. That was the virtual reality porn.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah.
That was a weird, funny thing. He could get that anywhere, but he went to the source.
Well, the company is here. So.
Sure.
Oh, do you actually know about this company?
No. Well, I assume
They-
they said the company was here.
There are a few like different random porn companies around here. Like I know when I was doing my job searching that like one of the largest like live streaming services is based around here. Not like live streaming services, but like the service that provides like the video technology for those streaming
Okay.
services is here.
Like the people that Pornhub, not they don't make the porn, they just do like the streaming stuff.
It's
Yeah.
AWS for porn.
Yeah, essentially.
Cool.
If you're going to be in porn, probably better be on the tech side than on the content side. Seems a little cleaner.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be a director or like the cameraman, I don't really see a problem with that. If you want to be like the star, then yeah, I mean, you're probably not a great industry to be in.
Honestly, I'm just thinking more of like decisions on maybe that are profitable. If you're more the technology.
Yeah, that seems
Porn's not that profitable, you know. Most of us and probably most of the people here listening probably watch porn for free. So like,
It
but it's
how
ad
many peop-
supported.
yeah, but like, how you getting people to watch your specific porn for specific ads? Like,
I mean, it's like acting or anything else. It's just, oh, like, I have this feature set, and then like I'm gonna like.
I'm just saying, like, the push down to free has made porn not that great of a business to be in.
Sure. What about VR porn?
Yeah.
You've
Same-
got like what, 1 million people with VR headsets, and half of
Probably
them on
less.
PSVR. So like, probably more if you go phone wise, but there's just not enough people.
Sure. Yeah.
Future wise, sure, maybe it's good business to start now. So by the time it starts rolling out, you're good to go.
He seemed to like it.
Hmm?
He seemed to like it.
Oh yeah, he was into it.
Tony Bourdain.
Yeah. Tobo.
Is there anything that they'd show in the show that he wouldn't be into? Like, are there just a segment he filmed where like, yeah, this VR porn, this is shit, throw it away, like this is garbage?
There have
Did they
been
throw this whole segment out?
there have been like episodes where like, you know, somebody gives him some food and like you have the voiceover of him saying, "Oh, this was terrible," and then he verbally says, "Oh, this is amazing," just so he doesn't like. But it's funny.
Yeah, I have to imagine that he could have thought that was shit, and just like played it off as he thought it was great.
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm not
Forget
willing to
why.
watch any other episodes of this to find out what he did not like.
Definitely never watching this show again. I will just go back to no reservations.
I'm out. I don't know if there was any other segments past the. My notes got erased.
Well, there was
Stupid
the
fun.
two musician segments. There was the
Oh
one
my
with the
God.
Seattle bass with the Tech Bros song,
Yep.
the guy and the girl.
I
and
mentioned
then
the Tech Bros at the
Right.
beginning, but
we didn't mention it was the song. There's actually a song seems like called Tech Bros by this local Seattle band.
Yeah, I mean that song was better than the song at the end. I thought.
Oh, the song at the end was not. The song may have been okay. The way they decided to do it in the show,
It was
Horrible.
weird. Yeah.
It was just this
horrible.
really slow, like blue. It wasn't blues, but it like felt like that's what they're trying to get at, and it was just like. Then they just did this montage for like 4 minutes
of like everybody in the show sort of singing along to it.
It was
Weird.
it was horrible. It was one of the worst things I've seen on TV in a long time.
Man, that's rough, but also fair.
Well, it's like those TV made musicals when they're doing the montage song. Usually it's a reprise of like the main song.
Sure.
And they go around to all the characters singing their part in the song.
Noah, what's your favorite TV musical?
South Park, the musical, the movie. The movie.
Is that a TV,
TV
musical?
musical?
TV musical?
Is that a thing?
You better
I would
say
go-
Glee.
I would go with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, that's a good call.
The Christmas special.
I'm gonna say that's okay.
I feel like the Snowman one is better.
Frosty the Snowman?
Yeah, Frosty the Snowman. the show.
Frosty's good. Rudolph, I don't know. I have a pretty soft spot for Rudolph.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if we have anything else to say about the show. It was so bad.
Yeah, like I mean,
All right.
can everybody agree bottom third? Like
This is definitely bottom third. Like, there's no way.
Sorry, Tony, it's bottom third for sure.
Like, is this worse than Celebrity Apprentice?
No.
Okay.
Would you guys give Tobo another shot on a different show?
no.
One of his a show from 10 years ago, like real peak Tobo, definitely.
The fact that you're calling him Tobo is angering me.
That's kind of the point.
The anger me?
Yeah, hey, Chris, I love seeing you riled up.
I really, really wanted to turn this off.
You know, actually,
so much earlier in the show.
Can I start calling you C-Lo?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody already took
They-
CeeLo.
Then you can start saying "fuck you," and it'd be unironic.
Yeah. Really
What?
set you up there, and yeah.
All
right.
CeeLo Green.
All
I understand. I
guys.
said it was already taken.
Okay.
I didn't know what you wanted me to say.
Do we have any other plugs? Anything people want to tell us about? What have they been watching? What do they like? How's their life going?
I finished The Mindhunters.
Oh, I watched that.
You know, I don't know. It's just like the slow drama. I mean, it starts building. By the end, I kind of cared, but towards like the first couple episodes, I was like, "What's going on? I don't understand what the show is about."
So, I liked Mindhunters. The problem with it for me is sort of they spend a little bit of each episode sort of setting up a real big bad guy, and they do not resolve that by the end of season 1.
That is true.
And I found that sort of upsetting.
Yeah, I'm on episode 3.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
I mean, basically, that's not too spoilery, hopefully.
Yeah, that's fine. I feel like, to Chris's point, it took a while to figure out what was going on. It's like, oh, it's about serial killers, like, and setting that up at the FBI. Like,
Yeah, well, no, it's about the team that researched serial killers at the FBI.
right.
That's what it's about. And it is, you know, there's some shots with the serial killer, which I actually thought was really, like, when they get dig deep into the serial killers, you really enjoyed that. But as the show goes on, like, there's like, we're talking about the serial killer, the next week, like, he's just not on it. And it's like just about these two people. And
How many times have we said serial killers in the last 30
then
minutes?
it's true.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about serial killers, guys.
This
Lots
is
of
getting
serial killers.
flagged in the NSA database.
You know, hey, we'll take whatever listeners we can. Mr. NSA, like us on iTunes, rate us, all that jazz.
Oh, hi, Mark at NSA.
Oh, that's a good plug, actually. A bunch of us saw The Disaster Artists
Oh yes.
last week. Highly recommend.
Fantastic. Very good movie.
Would
I
you say
think
it's the movie of the year?
It's definitely top. I don't know if it's the top movie of the year. I haven't done any like analysis of all the movies that came out this year, but definitely in the top 5.
It's a good movie. I think James Franco, maybe one of the best performances of the year.
I hope
above the quality of the movie, still being good.
Sure.
His performance just.
I hope it wins an Oscar.
That would be amazing.
I don't care which Oscar. I just hope it wins an Oscar.
I wouldn't be surprised it gets put on for best adaptation.
Dude, does this mean they're going to invite Tommy Wiseau to the Oscars this year?
That would be great.
That would
be great if it was
so good.
Tommy Wiseau and
Greg Sestero.
not Greg Sestero.
James?
as Tommy Wiseau, just like both two Tommy Wiseaus.
That would
I
also
would-
be pretty good. But
I
I do
would be
kind of want
so
Tommy
into that.
Wiseau and Greg Sestero to walk up on stage and claim that award on behalf of James Franco.
That would be great.
They do have a new movie too.
It's called Best F open parentheses R close parentheses Yens. Are they best friends or best fiends? Who knows?
They're advertising. Is it advertising for like the Red campaign though?
Red.
No.
Yeah, the Red campaign is like to
Like the red
for-
iPhones.
For AIDS awareness.
Yeah, it's AIDS awareness and like donations and stuff. So like,
Mm,
but that's how they typically present it. Is like the parentheses are.
no. They're just
No,
trying
it
to
has
say,
nothing to do with
are
that.
they frenemies
Really?
or not? You're out.
All right. I think we should cut it off.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. Please rate us on iTunes. You can find us on Facebook.com/whoputthison. You can find us on Twitter @whoputthison. You can email us questions at whoputthison@gmail.com. You can send us suggestions. Please send us suggestions.
Please, we don't want to watch any more Tobo.
No more Tobo, though. Adios.